Before we go any further, tonight's show, I actually had it on the thumbnail. I want to talk about a tragic story in the HVAC industry that I came across. This story comes out of Tucson, Arizona. And this is just a fella doing his job. A lot of folks, they do what we do, Larry, and they go to work every day and they don't think about how dangerous some of the things that we're doing, how it really is. So I'm just going to read through this real quick. Just a real sad story here. It says tragic death of a Tucson HVAC professional has led to some of the most serious fines in the Industrial Commission and levy against a business for workplace safety violations. In July, Dalton Lee was installing an air conditioning unit at Spreading Threads, a nonprofit clothing bank that helps foster children. Lee was a constant supporter of the organization and didn't hesitate to help, according to Spreading Threads. He's the kind of person you want in your community. An investigation from the Arizona Division of Occupational Safety and Health found that Lee was electrocuted while installing an AC unit on the roof after the crane used to lift it touched a live power wire. Now, the crazy thing about this tragic story, I want to show you guys, is the next little part here. The crane operator, DC Crane LLC, was found to be negligent by being too close to the power lines without having the power turned off. ADOSH also discovered that there was no record of required annual inspections of the crane, and the lift used for the AC unit was frayed and cut in several places. ADOSH presented its findings to the Industrial Commission, which decided to fine DC Crane more than $32,000, and a very rare move issued an additional $25,000 that goes to Lee's family, which, I mean, isn't enough, but at least they did that, right? Real tragic story that goes on to talk more about his family and so on, but just a tragic story, Larry. Obviously, it's sad, but it sounds to me like it could have been very much prevented had these folks been doing their job correctly.
I'm around contractors and workers all the time, and I think generally they're men. I think the longer men are in trades, they start to cut corners, they don't take it as serious as they once did. Now in that story, it was the crane's fault. So the cooling guy, HVAC guy, had no idea, but it's something that needs to be talked about more all the time. What safety on the job site, what does it entail? What are going to be the limits? My oldest son just passed his builder's license exam fairly recently. So a few days ago, we were putting up a aluminum extension ladder to get onto somebody's roof, and I was less than 10 feet to the overhead electrical line. And he mentioned something about, because he had just read it. He said, well, the code says you can't put a conductive ladder this close. And I don't even remember it because I passed that test 24 years ago. It was a good reminder that, they're teaching the young people this stuff. You need to remember it, and the rules and codes are all there for a reason, for sure.
That's a good point. People become jaded after a while. That's a really good point. Little trivia about me. I actually went to school to be an electrician and worked for an electrical company for the first 5 years of my adult life. The company I worked for, we did not use aluminum ladders. All the ladders had to be fiberglass, including the big heavy ones. And if it was such a long distance that a fiberglass ladder was just going to be simply too heavy, then we had to get a bucket truck or something. That we did not use aluminum ladders.
Yeah, no, quick tip for homeowners that are driving around, and when you see your work vans, if the ladders up top are fiberglass, they're always electricians inside for sure. And then if they're aluminum, they're probably painters or just roofers or whatever. But yeah, when they're fiberglass and they're more expensive, they're heavier, they're definitely electricians, and they're taking the safety very, very important for sure.